Hey, today's episode of The Champs is brought to you by Harry's.
Hey, is you Harry? Yeah, you are, because you're probably a dude. But you might not be, but if you are, you probably shave your face. You know those blades? You go to the store? Neal.
Here's what I don't like about the blades. You gotta ask for help.
Yeah, some weird dude.
Like a fucking child. You gotta look around.
And somebody else has to go find the key because they've been stealing all those packs
for
meth.
He's on break.
You know what I mean?
He's on break. They gotta go find him. They gotta page him. It's embarrassing.
Okay, now it's 15 minutes into your journey. They finally hand you the pack of blades, and guess what? They're $700. This is a whack experience.
They're expensive.
Then you shave with them for a long time, and then you got to go do it all again. It's annoying, and you always have to shave your face. So
almost nonstop.
It's a thing. Yeah, it just continues.
So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to harrys.com.
Well, harrys.com. You just go on to
harrys.com.
Promo code TheChamps, and they will send you some shaving cream, some blades. These are but they're manufactured in Germany. Dude, you know how good Germans are at making blades. I should say,
Among other things.
I know how good they are at making blades. I've got the family tree with some missing branches to prove it.
But they don't really cut anyhow.
The point is, they send you shaving cream, they send you them blades. It's cheaper.
That's the thing that we're not saying. It's cheaper than any of the Mach 3, fucking
combining German and Jewish technology for the first time in history.
Cheaper and more German. This is a hit. You know who would hate this blade is Hitler.
Hitler would hate this combination.
Harrys.com. Enter the promo code TheChamps, and you're going to get $5 off.
Shave your face. Shave your balls.
First
shave your pussy.
Shave.
Do whatever you need to do.
You got this, son.
Fuck with it. Dates. What up, though?
I'm going to be in New York, but I don't have like dates. What do I have?
Go to New York.
Come to New York.
As for me, I will be at Stand Up Live in Phoenix, Arizona, May 1st through the 4th, which should be very exciting. And I'll be in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Yep.
In another country altogether.
We have a lot of Canadian listeners.
At Rumors.
Real talk.
May 9th and 10th. I know.
Yeah.
The Toronto show's all sold out, and everybody fucked with the Champs. Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I will be at the Improv, if I don't cancel, May 29th to June 1st. And Rooster Teeth Feathers, May 14, 15, that kind of weekend, up in San Jose, my home, my alma mater. And then our lovely guest, Cristela, you got some dates?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I think I'm doing a Limestone Comedy Fest next month, May 29th through the 31st.
That's in Bloomington, Indiana.
Bloomington,
Indiana,
right. Yo.
Yep.
Lots of fun.
The hotbed of comedy.
It's
might
the
want to
best.
hold the mic closer.
It's the New York of like the Midwest.
No, but it's the best. And I don't think she needs to put... I was about to tell her, Cristela, to put the mic up to her mouth, but you
I have a loud voice.
You got a voice.
All right, yeah,
That's
you're right.
Yeah,
you're reading.
You ain't no
looking at
shrinking
the readings,
violet.
guys.
Let's are the readings
The
back?
readings are coming in real nice.
What's the proton pack say?
Real.
What's the proton pack say?
It's
Yo,
coming in
let's
real
not
nice.
get into proton packs just yet. Let's begin our episode.
Yay.
Now you're fucking with the Champs.
Yeah, you're here. Fucking with the Champs podcast.
Say who she is.
It's Cristela Alonzo from Conan, from other fun things. But what a half hour on Comedy Central, and she just did a pilot over at ABC. But I want to talk about the story of the pilot because it's a very. You'll actually like this because I know that you like Hollywood stories.
I love showbiz.
But this one's a very interesting one.
Everyone loved. Did someone say showbiz?
But even more interesting to me was when I was hearing about your... Well, first, I saw you first do stand-up. I don't know, what do we auditioned for something together.
You were actually hosting the first time I auditioned for JFL New Faces.
Right. And I
never got in.
You never got it?
5 years, and I never got into that thing.
Which is ironic. And I'll talk about when I met you. I met you at Hermosa.
Yeah.
And then next time I saw you, it was backstage at Montreal at the Chappelle show, and I literally was like, I didn't know, and you got a little mad because I didn't know who you were, and it was like,
no, you know
I didn't know if you were friends with. I literally was like, I didn't remember. There wasn't like I'm going to see her again in Montreal at a weird backstage.
Here's the thing though, is that Neal doesn't
look at Neal when you tell him this.
Doesn't remember that we actually met 5 times in 2 months. and he never remembered me every time that he met me.
That doesn't sound like me.
I'm leaning towards believing Cristela.
That doesn't sound like me.
But do you mean it sounds exactly like
Guys,
you?
I'm with me all the time. That doesn't sound like me at all.
I was like, hi, yes, it's still me. It's still
You know
me.
what? Here's what I'll say in defense of that. The name Cristela.
You're not important. That's in defense of what I'm saying.
The name Cristela. Cristela again. If I don't know someone's first name exactly, I don't like to say it.
That's fair.
No, and actually, I'll give him that much. We were in a different country.
Yeah.
I don't even like to greet people that I definitely know out of fear that I'm getting their
I
names
second
wrong.
guess
I
myself,
call
and it's like,
everybody sweetie.
no, it's not.
Sweetie.
Yeah, it's not what I think.
Babe, sweetie.
Yeah.
My name is Mom. Okay, it's not Sweetie. All right, just making sure.
So we met it only at Hermosa, though, right?
Yes, 5 times.
Here's
at
the problem with
Hermosa.
Hermosa.
It's impossible to remember a
You
person in
can't.
Hermosa. It's like the island at Lost.
It's like, yeah, exactly. It's like no, but there's always so many people in the back.
Okay.
Agreed.
Yes.
And there's always people and their wives or their girlfriends,
Agreed. I'll
and
give
it's
that.
like there's so many people that I thought I just didn't. It was just like a
Yeah.
person.
Cristela, to be
understand
fair,
that.
you look like somebody's wife or girlfriend.
I know,
you
exactly.
do.
You look mad lovable.
You
yeah,
do.
totally, right? Especially when I'm on stage telling jokes. He's like, that is a wife.
Whoa,
or
that girlfriend is
so
funny.
She don't
That
belong
comic's
on
girlfriend
stage.
is funny.
She should get off stage and be somebody's wife.
Damn, girlfriend got jokes.
Those 5 minutes, yell wife.
No, but I never saw you do stand-up.
No, I know.
Yeah, it's not like
Well,
once
I
I
can say-
did, then I remember. But it was like before that, I was like,
And I'm back to Neal's side. There is a phenomenon where you don't remember people until you see them do well on stage.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like your comic brain will force you to not remember them.
No, I'm actually the opposite. I remember everybody. I don't
Until
remember
they
them.
get on
If
stage?
they bomb, I forget who they are. I'm like,
yeah.
who are you?
Oh, it's like
Yeah.
childhood trauma, but you're actually making it happen. Like I
Yeah.
blacked you
I
out.
don't know what's going on.
the great philosopher Dave Chappelle once said that he doesn't bother remembering someone's name unless he sees them 5 times. And it's like, well, then I guess they're going to keep
Five
coming
times.
around.
Hey guys.
They're going to keep coming around. I should remember them.
This is a special moment.
By the way, I have met Dave, I think, 5 times. I'm positive every time. I don't even think he knows me in relation to you at this point.
There's no way.
No way, right?
I mean, if you spend 10 minutes with him, the amount
I've
of people
opened
that come
for
up to
him.
him, the amount of people that come up to him,
That's fair.
It's overwhelming.
So just think of you to Neal is as me to
Neal
Dave
is like
Chappelle.
White Chappelle.
And I am like white Cristela.
Yeah. Yes.
But I can
All right.
say what my response to you when I first saw you, even though you didn't get New Face, although I'm confused about the jug.
I booked the ethnic show last year.
So you did go to Montreal.
Yeah, but
Okay.
that was out. But I had quit auditioning for New
Right.
Faces because I was just like, well, I don't know what the hell they want.
I just remember seeing you, and this is, I swear to God,
You
I
were
just.
very nice.
Well, I thought to myself, I genuinely thought to myself, you know how we always talk about like Dalia, the first time you see like a Dalia type, you
Yeah.
go, oh, I'll put my money on that. I thought
Yeah.
when I saw you, I was like, oh, she's gonna make so much fucking money. This is just so obvious. There's a Cristela-sized hole in the market. That's how I
Yeah.
think I'm a Jew. So
Yeah.
I think. But
we can make money off this.
But you were so funny, and so you're very clean and very
Yeah.
personable, and you just have so much. At any rate, I didn't know what I didn't know, which I just found out, is that you have a crazy fucking life story.
I do.
That I can't
do.
wait to get into.
Yeah.
Is this the Hollywood story?
No,
or is
No,
this
no. This is actually.
All right. Well, should we do this story first?
I feel like yes.
You kinda
Okay.
have to.
Okay. No, well, that's what
Contextual-
I'm hoping that
contextual.
it needs one leads into the other.
Oh yeah, no, it totally does.
All right. Great.
So you're born in San Juan,
I was
Texas.
born in San Juan, Texas, really popular area for the cartel. And for the first 8 years of my life, my family and I were squatters in this abandoned diner.
Okay, let's stop there. Neal, did you catch this?
You had me from the cartel.
You had me at cartel. Let's just back up. Who's
Your family growing up.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I mean. When you say your family growing up, you grew up in San Juan and you lived in a old diner.
An abandoned diner.
An
like
old
no
abandoned diner.
electricity,
Who's
no
your mom?
water, Nor anything. Who's
Why?
my mom?
Let's. I mean,
Who's your mom?
No,
Bring
'cause I
her
feel
here.
like I feel like you can't just be like, and we grew up in a diner. It's like, why?
Oh, my mom, actually, my mom and my dad from Mexico, obviously. And they came over here to the United States. And my dad actually was really shitty to my mom. He used to hit her. He was very abusive and stuff.
Obviously.
So I know.
No, I'm just kidding.
But,
Go ahead.
And,
We are, by the way, the masters of making light of people's childhood
me too.
trauma.
I take everything very lightly, so it's
good.
very cool. And
Not when people don't recognize you.
well, that actually means something.
Oh, my father's abusive, my mother,
Yeah.
pish posh. When it comes to
Hey,
my
Bill,
Hollywood,
my name's
dickhead.
Cristela, damn
my
it.
Yeah.
Hollywood career, goddammit.
Yeah.
So your mom, you abusive environment growing up.
Yeah, my mom actually left my dad and took the kids with her, and we ended up at this abandoned diner.
So okay, so your mom and dad did they sneak over the border together?
They actually they used a visa and they just stayed here like after it expired. They came here
Got it.
legally, and then they just never left.
And then you were born here,
Yeah,
and your dad and mom fight, and your mom
I
thought,
never met my dad.
oh, you've never met your dad.
I'm the only one in my family that never met my father.
Oh shit.
So it's like
So you don't know if he was really hitting your mom. That could just be her word against his. Go ahead.
Dun, dun.
But wait, so your mom left your dad. You never met him.
Yeah,
It could be Edward James Olmos. I mean, it could be anybody. You don't know.
No, actually, she told me that my dad was this famous wrestler named Santos.
Santos is your dad?
So, no. And but she told me that, and I told everybody at school, and I was like made fun of for like the rest of my school life because they all made fun of how stupid I was to believe it.
It's
and
such
it
a
was just, like,
demonstratively obvious lie.
Oh
too.
yeah, but I was a kid.
Not if you don't know Mexican wrestling.
Oh man,
Because
that
guess
is-
what? It's still believable to me.
No, but it's like you as a child could be like, what I think actually is that your dad hit your mom and she ran away and moved you into a diner. Like they filled in the backstory. That's how bad of a lie it was. So your mom left your dad and you moved into a diner?
Yeah. And it was like we had my mom. We used to have this orange extension cord that we would pay our neighbors $50 a month to borrow their electricity, and that's all the electricity we had. No furniture, really, anything.
Well, you had diner chairs, the swivel chairs and stuff.
No, everything was bare. So it was just one empty room. So it was just one empty room. So it was we had the counter, and like there was a counter and nothing else. It was just a big room with nothing. And
Did your mom
Was
ever
it-
say, like when your mom got mad at you, did she ever say kiss my grits?
she never learned how to
instance?
speak English.
Chupas
Wow.
mis hominies? No, that's suck
Pozole.
my
It was
pozoles.
pozole. Besa mis pozole.
Flow? So your
Yeah.
mom never spoke English either?
No, actually, Spanish was my first language, and I learned how to speak English through TV. I watch it. I learned it from TV. So I'm the only one in my family that doesn't have the accent as thick as everybody else's.
So your siblings that grew up in America have a strong Mexican accent?
Yeah, because they actually, my oldest brother was born in Mexico. They then.
You
they
can't
spent-
get rid of the accent legally if you're born in Mexico.
They came here and lived here for a while, and then my mom actually took them back to Mexico to live. To live
To
for
live
a
in an
while.
abandoned taqueria?
That's where the rich people live. We have made it in Mexico. It's a taqueria.
Wait, so wait. So slow down. So you moved here. You were born here, and then your mom moved into the diner. You lived there for 8 years.
Yeah.
When you were a baby, you lived in the diner?
Like, well, yeah. Like when I was born till I was 8 years old. The first 8
So,
years.
like, she left the hospital and went to the diner.
That's something about.
I love that
don't
you
even-
think that she had me in a hospital.
I love that you think that's laughable. You
Yeah.
fool.
You fool.
You white privileged fool.
I know. What is this medicine you speak of?
Yeah.
We
What, did
have
she
tea.
have you on
She
the
had
back
me
of
in
a
a
donkey or
pharmacy.
something?
We have herbal teas and stuff and
Where did she
prayer.
have
That's
you?
our medicine.
Where did she have you?
Midwife in a like a house like on the next street over from the diner.
A midwife or like a Aztec witch doctor?
Midwife was her name. Midwife.
Oh.
Midwife Gonzalez.
Oh, you mean she was your dad's new girlfriend? She was his midwife.
All right, so
Mama
you,
number
so,
two.
so is the diner like open? Meaning, is like the floor? I'm picturing a diner from like.
I'm picturing one too.
I'm picturing like it like dusty as fuck.
Yeah, grayish.
And like I'm thinking more brown. The floor's dirty. Like the windows are smudgy.
beans are
Am I right?
everywhere.
Am I right or
it's
wrong?
like you guys actually saw the diner. That's
Come
exactly
on.
what it was like. Yeah. That was yeah.
So it's empty.
Yeah.
And inside, did you? And when you became conscious, so you're what 5, 6 years old, I guess, is when you would be like, old enough to be like, bitch, we live in a diner.
We didn't know. I didn't know.
At no point did you say, Mom, what the fuck?
I had no idea.
When you were in trouble, she would send you to the smoking section, correct? Guys, I'm trying to tell you, I used to write for TV. Every once in a while, I can still get the old magic.
That's actually funny because I've tried doing jokes about it, and that was one of the first jokes I ever did.
Oh, good. Did it work?
No,
I didn't think so.
You know the problem with doing jokes about it, I bet, is it's difficult to establish believability.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
everybody thinks that you're lying, especially like when you perform at a place like Comedy and Magic or something where like no one can understand the idea.
People were like, I don't even eat at diners.
Right.
Let alone.
It's kind of weird to explain it and to kind of prove that, how do you prove it?
Isn't that crazy when your life is so weird that you can't tell jokes about it because people are like, you're making this up?
I've tried. I can't. I know. Everybody thinks I'm lying. Everybody thinks... I don't get it. So it's kind of weird. But why would you lie about that?
I mean,
why would you make that up? It's like kind of weird.
Okay, so and then how many are in the diner?
It's 5 of us. It was my mom, 2 brothers, my sister, and I.
Did the stove
all
work?
the same dad?
All the same dad.
Great.
And there was like a devout Catholic family, so that's why like my mom left my dad but would never divorce him.
Yeah, of course. How could
she? Well,
right.
She was the kind of person that thought that you only get married once and then you're done.
Yeah.
And you just never date, you never see.
I'm surprised she left when she hit him.
She actually she couldn't take it anymore. She left one time. She went to my uncle's house, and my uncle drove her back to my dad and said, "Your job as a woman is to take it from the man, take it from your husband."
Okay,
so,
just in defense of your uncle. No, I got nothing.
I was excited though. I thought,
this is
Moshe's really changed. Moshe's finally come to my side of it.
But she was like a really strict parent. Wouldn't let me go out of the diner at all. Like, wouldn't let me do anything. Wasn't allowed to have friends. So I started watching stand-up when I was a little kid.
How did you find TV?
Well, we had a little TV that my mom, I don't know how she got, but she got it, and we would plug it into the extension cord, and that was my babysitter. Like, the TV would take care of me.
It's the most American thing in the world. It's
I know. Isn't that weird?
People are too impoverished to afford a home.
Yeah.
Literally. But they're watching TV.
Yeah.
Totally.
But the thing about network TV, it's free. That's the thing that people forget.
Well,
And it used to be. There used to be it used to mean something.
Do you remember? Do you remember back when the channels would end at the end of the day? They'd play like the Star Spangled Banner.
Sure,
that it was just like
vaguely,
okay.
yeah.
But yeah, like, okay, all right. But yeah, TV kind of took care of me, and I started falling in love with stand up. And since I was a little kid, my mom couldn't speak English, so she would let me watch everything. Like, I'd go over to like neighbor's house and just watch these specials that I wasn't supposed to watch.
I had the same exact experience.
She had no idea.
My parents are deaf. Do you know that?
Yes.
So I would be listening to. I bought Dice's album.
Yeah. I
bought Two Live Crew.
Yeah.
We bought that as soon as we heard it was like off limits. We're like, oh, what the fuck is that? Because they couldn't.
Well, I was really into rap when I was younger, but in South Texas, I used to have to buy my rap at Walmart.
Sure.
Not knowing that it was clean rap.
Oh, that is.
So then I'm really into rap. And not knowing that, like...
You didn't know they swore?
I didn't know that there were any bad words in rap.
And the best part is they're totally clean.
Yeah.
Without it. I know. It wasn't until, like, 8th grade when I'm like, holy shit, today was a good day. It's totally different.
Yeah.
Like, from the actual version I've got.
Wait, so what TV shows would you watch? Like, what were your stand-up shows, and then who were your favorite comics?
When I was younger, I used to watch Saturday Night Live. That was actually like a big thing for our family. My mom worked at a restaurant. She was a short order cook. She'd come
Not the restaurant she lived in.
No, another. She would actually like. Yeah, that's so weird. She would go to a restaurant.
I heard she put an offer in on the restaurant so you could come and live. She was trying to make it go bankrupt because she wanted a better house.
She walked in on her first day of work. She's like, "You guys live here?" They're like, "No,
this is a restaurant. What's a restaurant?
This is a beautiful home. It's not a home."
I used to watch Saturday Night Live. It was a big thing for our family. Every Saturday we would she'd come home from work. She couldn't understand it, but she loved Eddie Murphy. She couldn't understand what he said, but she loved Eddie Murphy. She loved the movement. She loved everything. She knew everything he was saying was hilarious. So we used to watch Saturday
You know what that
Night
is?
Live.
That's fucking charisma.
That's true.
Definitely.
When a foreign person's just like, I like him.
Yeah.
It's like, that's just charisma.
You sound just like my mom.
Thank you.
I like him.
That's also the plot to Coming to America. I don't know if you know that, but this is exactly beat for beat the plot.
I used to watch a lot of like the A&E Evening at the Improv, like back in the day. You know, I used to.
Do you
watch,
remember anyone in particular? Does any person stand out? From A&E?
I remember Morgan Fairchild actually did a set.
I don't know who that is.
Hosting.
She hosted, and I remember seeing that and thinking, I don't think she's a comic. Like,
right.
But not knowing as a kid that she
Mama,
wasn't. Like,
Mama, ¿cómo se dice hack?
¿Cómo se dice boo?
Yeah.
I think it's,
no?
isn't it oob or something like that?
I love that you just.
Isn't that SIDA? Don't they do that with AIDS? Yeah,
what?
SIDA and AIDS.
SIDA, yeah.
It's reversed. Or is it not?
No.
SIDA,
and then
AIDS.
It would be AIDAS. SIDA.
It is
SIDA.
AIDAS. Wait.
Anyway.
All right.
I'm losing my mind.
You're back in the undertow.
Yeah, I'm back in that black space.
I was really in love with TV as a kid. I watched everything. I watched like Bill Cosby. You know, I listened to Bill Cosby a lot when I was a kid. You know, because he was like totally clean. I used to listen to Eddie Murphy a lot, which is so weird because they're completely different. And I loved it. I just loved stand-up so much. And I told my family that I wanted to do it, and they all laughed at me.
You're like, perfect.
Yeah, you know, I'm like, nailed it. Kind of tight.
First joke.
Two.
First
and,
set.
I just wanted to do it my entire life, and that's kind of what I wanted to do forever.
Well, let me stop you there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming in. No, you're saying until 8 years old, you were in this diner.
Yes.
Watching TV, falling in love with show business and
Yes.
stuff. You didn't, even at 8 years old, say to your mom, where the fuck are we living?
No, because in my area, everybody was that poor.
But that nobody
There
lived
were
in
only
a
so
diner.
many diners, though.
No, actually, there's a lot of
Diner
families in
living?
that area that kind of do that. It's actually not that. It's not that rare in the area that
To
I'm from.
squat, you're saying, in
Yeah.
some kind of abandoned
Yeah.
building.
And they would just, wouldn't, they weren't all diners. It would be like a mattress store. It would just be
Whatever
old mini mall.
empty building it was, you know.
And where would you shower?
There was actually like a bathroom.
Right, look
that
at you
we
trying to
could-
get into your inspirational story. We're not interested in that.
No, I
Did
will
you
get
get
to
into
it,
No,
but
I'm with you.
yeah.
I'm picturing you in a big industrial sink with one of those hose showers that they use to
We actually used to.
you know what I'm talking
Yeah, a fucking dishwasher. That's what you're saying.
It's actually worse. My mom had a dill pickle bucket that had
Oh,
like
boy.
the 10 gallons of.
Has she seen Hannibal? She'd love him. Go ahead.
And
It's like Eddie Murphy, but pickle jokes. Go
she
ahead.
would fill up the bucket with water, and we would warm it up. We had a heater, and back in the day, the heaters weren't safe, so you could actually stand the heater up, and she would cook on the heater. That's where she would cook the food at. So she would warm up water on that heater. And we actually had this like silver tub that people like washed at the wash tubs. We would stand in the tub and we would put cups all over us with water, and that's how we would shower.
You know, it's funny, because I grew up on welfare, and right now I'm feeling like fucking like I got like adopted by Mr. Drummond.
Well, what's funny
you know
is
what I mean? Like
that,
this is so crazy.
We're all right. When you're bathing, where's everybody else? Are they just there?
They're outside.
Okay, so it's like one at a time. You go in.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's like some 1800 shit.
Yeah, I
Straight
know.
up.
Yeah, and this is like in the 80s.
Did you smell like pickles?
I was dilled.
Oh, that's very nice. And your little brother was
I was
sweet.
pickled.
That's my little brother. He a homosexual. He's sweet pickle.
My older brother doesn't bathe. He's called Cucumber.
Kaboom. All right, so did you have shame about it?
Yes, I was very embarrassed.
Wait a minute. Okay, why were you embarrassed if you weren't old enough to say, why do we live here?
Because I didn't understand. No, I wasn't embarrassed about where I lived.
Mm-hmm.
I was embarrassed when I went to school and felt that I was different from everybody else, and like
The
way
only
that
one
they
with a
dressed
wrestler
and
parent,
everything.
correct? The only one who's
you know, My mom used to make my clothes.
Oh shit! Out of what?
Out of like, we would go to the big city of McAllen, and she would buy yards of fabric, and she would just make these like
Honestly,
really simple clothes.
Your mom this is feeling unnecessarily poor at this point.
I know.
feel like
That's
she
what
could have
she's piling on.
She
now.
could have gone to a church
No.
and said, "Give us some clothing."
Well,
yeah,
actually-
she's piling it.
Yeah.
I mean, even in Africa, in like
She's
fucking
over the.
straight
Your
up.
mom just jumped the shark.
She was fifth season.
Yeah.
She was at fifth season right now.
Even in Africa, like even in straight up like trench town Africa, a guy will come out with like a
Right,
t-shirt
right,
and
right.
shorts that
Yeah.
they were.
Yeah, you didn't get
Like
like
the rejected Super Bowl.
championship
Yeah,
shirts that
t-shirt.
didn't work out or whatever. Yeah.
My mom was really proud, and she didn't want to ask for handouts because she always knew that a lot of people were very critical of people coming over to this country and taking over everything, so she wouldn't do it.
That
So-
is noble. That is noble, but so fun, so hilariously misguided. She's like, people will judge us. So what I will do is I will sew you sackcloth to wear
Yeah.
when we walk around town.
Yeah.
No one
Nobody
will
will
judge us.
notice.
Yeah.
No one will notice. You're like
Meanwhile, it's got-
everybody
we'll
Fit
else.
in just like everybody
Your
else.
pants have like flour written on them.
I know.
So
I
what
know.
did they look like? What did these clothes look like?
They were just like these skirts that had like suspenders, and like these shirts that were short sleeve with buttons, like really simple to make. And
She also gave you the suspenders and a barrel, correct? That you'd wear.
Very well done. Yes, Neal, that was
Oh
fantastic.
God, I love you guys.
Tall socks, clogs.
Fuck your life, Cristela. Fuck your life.
Fuck your pain.
So, all right. So you're 8, and then how were your brothers doing? Were your brothers like fine?
Well, yeah. I mean, we were just kind of happy that we weren't dead.
Right. They were older, though. Is my point.
Yeah, they were like 10 years, 12 years. I'm the youngest.
The cartel was like, should we go recruit them? They're like, no need. They'll come to us.
Yeah.
They'll be coming this direction
Yeah.
any moment. But isn't it interesting, though, that your shame receptors were able to identify I'm dressed like a fool and
Yeah.
not I live in a place that's not a home? I mean, that's
Yeah.
really a fascinating, like...
Well,
like
you know, I think that kids when you're younger, you kind of end your school day and you don't think about everybody having a home or anything. It's kind of like when you see
Yeah.
a teacher at the store and you're like, oh, this person is a real
Right.
person.
Yeah.
You know
But
what I mean?
you're
There's
so
something
aware
about
of your-
it that you're completely, you disassociate like school from being part of like real life.
Right.
So it was really weird. I think that I was embarrassed about what I used to wear and what I used to look like in school.
It makes sense to me, actually,
You
that you
know-
were able to not escape the embarrassment of your
Right.
clothing, but...
No one's worse than kids, by the way.
No.
Oh no, they're assholes.
Yeah, they're the
dicks.
worst.
And
Yeah.
I wish I could say that I was the guy that wasn't doing that. I remember the poor kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The kid that couldn't afford to dress
Yeah.
themselves in a way that wasn't
And he
embarrassing.
was poor to you.
It was poor to me, and we would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, of course, I would turn on him harder than anybody
Well, you have
else.
to show
course,
that
right,
you weren't
right,
no
right.
bitch and that you were super rich.
That's right.
What better way to prove that you're rich than to shit on a poor person?
You know what's
Yeah.
funny though? That dude one day had too much. And guess who lost a fight with him? Your boy, old Farnsworth over here. Thought he was,
Did he get popped?
Oh yeah, he.
Well, you
I
know
mean,
why? Because he fucking wanted it more than you.
That's right. He was hungry. That's what they.
Yeah.
That's what they call being hungry. But I remember that fight. I never fucked with him again, too.
That's hilarious.
You know that his name was William. And then
Do you remember what you said to him that got you
I
popped?
was just making fun. We all made fun of his shoes. We all made fun of his. He would wear Keds.
And
or
one
whatever.
day he
And
turned
one day
like
he
Pearl
had too
Jam
much.
Jeremy, and boom.
Yeah, we wrestled around, and he ended up just putting me in a headlock and punching me in the face a few times. And I was like, okay, you win this round and
Wow.
all further rounds because I'm done making fun of him. And he turned into a thug, actually. I remember seeing him years later, and he was like, what's up, Holmes? And he did not talk like that when he was.
Really?
Yeah, it was really interesting. Yeah. But
Did you have nice shoes?
Well, he was taking care of himself, yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Wow, that's
All
pretty
right.
crazy.
So you're ashamed. All right. And then when what got you guys to move?
We actually ended up. My mom had saved up enough money to move to another house. It was another house, not better than the diner, but still kind of like really, really. Poor.
Did the diner get better? Would you get like a board? Was there anything that you would get like fucking, like, hey,
We're really
we got
reaching the bottom of the
we-
barrel.
we got
here.
a seat.
Did you get a board?
Did you get like
You
some
guys-
plywood?
Do I
you
sound
finally get-
really pathetic?
No, this is
No.
amazing.
No.
This sounds incredible.
No.
Throughout the years, we started gathering furniture, and actually, we ended up making like these makeshift rooms. Like my mom had a dresser that she would put in the middle of the diner, and that kind of separated like where we would sleep.
Yeah, that's
and
what I
where
mean.
I mean, so throughout the years, we started gathering a couple things, and we still didn't have a lot, but still it was like we had like a couple beds. I slept with my mom in the same bed till I was 18 because we couldn't afford our own bed.
Whatever you need to tell yourself to explain that. It's fine.
And she kept telling me I was pretty.
I'm listening.
Go
ahead.
So
Anyway, I loved stand-up comedy. TV was very important to us back then.
we ended up moving to another house. It didn't have any, it was so ridiculous. It had a front door, back door, no doors in between the rooms. So it was like a 2-bedroom.
Did you bring the walls from the diner?
No, but I love the idea of you walking around a house with no doors, like with like flipping your top hat, like the Planner's Peanut, like we're in the money.
Yeah. Did you get
monocle?
Yeah. Was it like? Were you considered? Was it like? Did she pay for the house, or it was just another place to
We
squat?
were renting it. She paid $150 a month and still could barely make the rent.
Well, she'd been not paying rent for 8 years.
But
she got used to certain
because she had her visa, it was expired, and actually she was trying to become a legal resident of the United States, and in order to do that, she had to go to Mexico and ask for permission to become a legal resident, and they turned her down twice so that she would spend more money to get it. Every time that she tried to become a legal resident, it cost her like $5,000-$6,000.
That's the story you tell yourself. But what really happened is she went to the border and they were like, address, and she was like, Alice's restaurant. And they were like, come back a little later.
Did they let her back into America though, or she'd sneak back?
Yeah,
in?
because her kids were here, and
the
way that the paperwork was done, she was allowed to go back and then
come
back.
That's what's so interesting about immigration. You probably have a more nuanced understanding about this than I do, but like when people who aren't living in border towns, and especially aren't from immigrant families, talk about immigration, I think they think of it as like a binary thing, like you're illegal, go home, or you. Or send. It's like it's so complicated and weird.
Yeah.
It's really and they make it very difficult, and people don't understand how difficult it is because it really is a bracket. Like it's such a money racket. Like I mean, you have to go. I mean, the Mexican government is so corrupt that it's like if you have the money, they'll give you the permission. If you don't, you're screwed. So it's just all of this red tape that you don't know about. And she ended up. She worked at a restaurant, double shifts. She made like $150 a week. Just working 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. I mean, whatever.
Crazy,
and because she was very strict, everybody in my family, we were all like straight A students. We weren't allowed to have B's. Like she would hit us if we got a B. And we were only allowed to get A's, so it was like we were very good at school. And
what kind of school did you go to? Catholic or to public?
No, just a public school. But,
yeah, that'd be funny after all this. Well, a small Montessori private school.
Well, no. But I would think like Catholic schools would let in people that weren't rich.
Well, yeah, I actually was curious. Did you go to a church and say help at any point?
No, we were actually because my mom was one of those people that we were such devout Catholics that she thought that praying was the only help that she could give, and she could ask for.
There's nothing crazier than being Catholic.
Yeah, huh?
There's almost nothing. Yeah, there's almost not anymore. But I was raised Catholic.
Yeah.
There's nothing does a bigger fucking thing on your head than being raised.
It's
Catholic.
weird, being Catholic. I think because I grew up so Catholic, I'm really I'm so full of guilt and shame in a way that like I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress sometimes because I feel like I'm so I'm showing too much skin.
Yeah.
And it's like just shit like that doesn't let me be like a regular person.
Yeah.
Which is so weird.
And you're not even a believing Catholic anymore. Is that true? Or
I am. Because I was raised so Catholic that there's part of me that just can't completely give it up.
I'm with you.
It's just I can't.
I have the same relationship with Judaism. It's just that there are things that I do, and I don't even logically really know why I bother doing them, but I just still do. But I just think it's interesting that there are people that have left their religion behind entirely, like Neal, but you still have some residue.
It's still in there. It's still like fucking. It's like a Gatorade bottle that you're using for water, and it's like I taste Gatorade.
Yeah.
Like I still taste Gatorade. Like there's still fucking.
No,
there's still something.
I taste yellow.
Yeah, there's something that I'm in my morality or whatever, the way I see the world.
That's kind of weird, isn't it? It just always sticks
But like
with you.
Sartre or somebody said, if you're raised Catholic, you can't get rid of it. Like he's like, you can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
There's nothing like
it's such a weird thing.
Voltaire, somebody super smart. So it's not just me.
Brennan. It might have been Brennan.
It might have been Brennan.
Said
There's Gatorade. Sarge said there's always Gatorade in there. Okay, so then you get a better house.
Yeah, we get a better house. Still, like, I'm at school. Nobody.
Your brothers move out yet?
No, because it's tradition that you stay in the house until you get married.
Got it.
But you do that at 13. Luckily.
Yeah, that's the good news. Good news, bad news.
I know. I'm in my 30s, not married, no kids.
Ay, Dios mío.
Ay, pero qué pasó?
Wait, but que lástima. But what's up with your brothers? Are they in trouble? Are they what?
No, actually, my mom was so strict that we were one of the only sides of the family that's
no trouble.
Yeah, no trouble at all. I'm the worst one. I got a DUI when I was 21. That's the worst thing that's happened. But like my brothers both work at the school district back in my hometown. You know, one of them does inventory for the school district. The other brother teaches math. He's really smart, and that's like a weird thing that we were all very smart people that tested really high, just like IQs, everything, but we never had the opportunity to do anything with it. So we were just these poor smart kids that just kind of didn't do anything.
Your mom beat your IQ to an appropriate level. Is
yeah,
that
I think
correct?
she beat us to brilliance.
Yeah, not high enough.
And my sister works in Dallas. She works at she's like an exec or something at like Chase or Capital One or something like that.
It just came out, by the way. You just said exec, which I really liked.
Oh, sorry.
An exec. And
there you go.
She has an exec.
Okay, so then when did you go to college?
I tried going to college, couldn't afford it. I actually ended up I tried going to a couple different schools, but I ended up dropping out to come. I had to move back home to take care of my mom. She started getting sick.
Is she better?
No, she passed away 12 years ago. That's actually why I started stand-up.
Oh,
so wait. So you hadn't started stand-up up
No,
until this point.
not at all. I went to, I wanted to go to college for theater because I was scared of doing stand-up.
Sure.
Because in stand-up, you have to write everything, and if they don't like you, they don't like you.
Yeah,
in theater, you can always blame the playwright. You can always say, oh, the script sucked, but stand-up, you're just so vulnerable. And I ended up having to drop out of college a couple times just to move back home because in this Latino household, it's like in tradition, the mom picks whoever she wants to take care of her.
Is that right?
Like when she's older.
Whoa, that's
so I was the youngest
fascinating.
one, so she's like, you're going to take care of me.
Wow.
So my job was to take care of her. So
did you
she
resent
started,
that?
They do it like Survivor, right?
Huh?
She does it like Survivor, where you all sit around and she's like, the tribe has spoken. Blow out your torch, Jose.
It's more like The Bachelor. I got the rose.
Oh, there you go.
So she told you this? Or
Yeah,
something?
she told me that when I was younger. So
before she got sick.
Yeah,
said
and everybody
someday.
knew that was my job. My job was always going to be to take care of her when she got older.
And did you remember resenting that before she was sick?
No, actually, I didn't. I was so. My mom was the most important person in my life, so I was like, of course, I have to do this. When I realized that I had to not finish college, which is something I really wanted to do, then I resented it.
And so then she was sick.
Yeah, now she was sick, so I had to move back.
That's a tough situation.
Yeah.
I've been through that too, where you have a family member that's sick, and you're simultaneously like bleeding grief and love and like anger towards
right,
them.
yeah. There's so many things. It's like you want to help and you love them, but at the same time you're so angry at them, and you're just there. I felt like my life was ending because I couldn't do what I wanted to do.
And it was. It's complicated.
How long did you have to take care of her for?
Off and on for about 2-3 years.
Yeah,
and and it was that thing where like she ended up getting sick, she got better, she got sick, she got better. Last time I actually moved to LA when I was 22, and I was living here. I had just had my birthday. My birthday's like in January, and I get a call from my brother. And my brother says, Mom's on her deathbed. You need to come down to Texas. I don't have any money because I'm in LA trying to make it.
You just moved.
Yeah, so a friend of mine, my roommate, used his dad's miles to fly me home.
That's
so I
nice.
flew home, and the moment she saw me, she got better. And she said it was...
Like on some bullshit?
Yeah. No.
Like she was faking?
No. She was in the hospital, like
Oh,
everything.
got it.
Like she was done, And as a Catholic, she had put my picture in the back of this St. Jude card. That was our saint. And she got better and she thought it was God.
Yeah, no wonder she picked you. You're the fucking healing oracle. I would have picked you too.
My mom thought that I had healed her, like her seeing me fixed her. And she begged me not to come back to LA.
Wow.
And I had to leave everything behind. I had an apartment, I had a car, I had everything, and I felt so guilty leaving that I said, yeah, I'll do it. So I called my roommates and I said, give away everything I own. I have to
They were like,
stay
all
with
three things?
You mean including the pickle bucket?
I was going to say the wash tub, you dick. You totally peeped me. So, I ended up staying with her. We moved to Dallas. We were in McAllen, in like the little South Texas town.
McAllen's like military or manufacturing?
Manufacturing.
Got it.
And we moved up to Dallas where my sister lived, and my mom and I shared a little room. I slept in the same room as my mom on the floor, and I took care of her till like the day she died. And I remembered it was 22. She was on a lot of medications. She had heart problems. We found out that she had actually had so many strokes in her life that we couldn't afford to go to the doctor, so she suffered through them. So every stroke made her heart weaker and weaker and weaker. Jesus. So then that
How do you
year,
suffer through a stroke? I've never heard of anyone doing that before.
You're
that's
saying
just what
that
you
she
did.
kept it to herself?
Yeah.
Fuck,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, and it was
Do you ever feel, just to put a pin in this story for an emotional check-in, do you ever feel like you're such an upbeat person and your comedy's pretty sunshiny? I mean, I don't, and it's not, I mean, that's in a good way.
right.
Do you ever feel like, fuck me, what the fuck? I had this fucking, do you ever feel victimized by your history, or you feel grateful for it?
Grateful. I think it makes me more appreciative of everything that happens. Like, to me, everything good that happens, I'm so amazed by it that I could sulk, and I did, and I've gone to therapy for it, and then I had to stop going to therapy because I couldn't afford it. But like, I could be depressed about it, or
Your sulking was your mother's strokes. Go ahead. That's the difference between your situation and your mother's. She had strokes. You had sulking.
Well, you know, when my mom got sick, I was the youngest one, and I was surprised at what I had to do because I was the youngest one, but I had to take a lot of responsibility. So, you know, she got sick. They had called, we called the ambulance. The ambulance came to the house. I was the one that had to tell them, like, what medication she was on. I rode with her in the ambulance because no one else wanted to get in the ambulance with her. And I remember, how
old are you at this time?
22.
Yeah.
Can you just picture the difference between you and, like, some kid who is like, what the fuck, Dad? Why'd you get me a Samsung?
Yeah.
I wanted an iPhone. And
And it's kind of funny. It's like, I remember my mom, like, I was there. We had to, she went through surgery. She made it, but she was kind of hanging on, and we had to decide if we were going to turn off the machine or not. And I'm thinking,
and you had the machine plugged into a hospital next door, folks. Come on, guys. You know I wrote for TV.
Yes, but also no.
You know I wrote for TV before.
Yes, but no. Joke-wise, it's a 10.
Yeah.
Humanity-wise, it's a pretty
not
much
great.
a 0.
Go ahead.
You guys, this is like an episode of Girls.
So, I do remember feeling like, and my childhood was nothing like yours, but I do remember feeling like when my dad got sick and I was young, I was 20.
Yeah.
I just remember feeling like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And my dad dies when I'm young.
Yeah.
Like, after all this bullshit, and Dad
I
dies
felt the same way because I'm like, really? Like, I don't get to do anything I want to do. I have to stop my life to come and take care of my mom, and then she dies? Like,
and I'm the one that picked myself up from living in a restaurant?
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? Like, what happened? Like, I don't even get that. Like, how does this even make sense? So then, and then again, as a Catholic, I'm like, dude, I did everything right.
Yeah.
Like, I did everything that you're supposed to, and you're still shitting on me. Why are you doing that?
Were you a virgin?
Yeah.
22?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I believe it.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry if I got too personal.
I mean, when my mom passed away, I was there with
like,
her.
I'm doing stand-up, and I'm fucking.
In that order. No,
Yeah.
I'm fucking on stage. That's my first set.
You fucking a stool.
You fucked the stool.
That was your first thing.
You lost your virginity
I've
to
never
the stool.
fucked a stool.
Good for you.
I have
Good
never
for you.
fucked a stool.
Yeah.
Thank God.
We're not a pro stool fucking.
The only
podcast.
one who has, Chelsea has, and I feel like Monique has fucked the stool.
Chelsea Peretti.
Yeah,
She
fucks
has
the
she
stool,
has a
making
meta
fun of
stool
fucking the stool.
joke. But the only person that we're okay with fucking the stool is Cat Williams. We support his stool fucking, but everybody else is
One of the
pretty
great
much off limits.
stool fuckers ever dead.
The great. One might say the great.
Okay, so she dies.
She dies, and I'm completely depressed, and I end up having.
Do you feel like you did everything you possibly could, though?
Yeah.
Like you must.
Oh, yeah.
You're
It was-
depressed, but you're not guilty.
No. Actually, I at that point when she passed away, I was happy that I had done everything.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any regrets later on. I didn't feel guilty. I didn't feel like I had not done everything I could. I did everything I could. I was actually happy enough knowing that I had been the good daughter for her, which is a lot of people can't say that. So I was like, yes, I did my job.
Including your sister.
You know,
Right. And Juliana Margulies can only say she was the good wife. Go ahead. Sorry, I don't feel good about that one. I did used to write for TV, but not on the same level as Neal. I don't have the same.
You wrote for the New Normal.
That's right. What are you going to do? You can only do what you can do. I'm working with the tools I've been given.
I started after my mom passed away. I needed a job, and I was looking at the want ads, and I went to apply as a server at a Johnny Carino's.
What's that?
It's an Italian restaurant, kind of like Olive Garden.
Sure.
And then I saw this other job for office help that didn't have the name of it. And just seemed kind of like, it seemed like it was near my sister's house. I went, and it was the Improv in Dallas.
Oh, wow.
They were looking for office
Whoa.
help. And
Let me ask you, what other podcasts have you done?
I've never done one.
We're breaking this story.
I have turned down every podcast I've ever been asked
Really?
to do. Yeah.
Why did you say no to them, and why did you say yes to us?
Because a lot of the podcasts that have been asked to do have
Low rent, and you know low rent.
They have a lot of the podcasts.
She knows
were
no
so,
rent. Go ahead.
They were a lot of them were really gimmicky, and it was this thing where it was a little too much, like a little too like, hey, let's do this, and this is the catch, and I just didn't.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel right, you know.
And then the champs called.
And actually, I said yes because I respect what both of you do, and I wanted to come and talk to you guys.
Well, we respect you too. Takes six times, but we respect you too. So you went to work. You answered this ad.
You know what's funny is that I interviewed at the Improv, and I told them how much I love stand up.
Wait. Take me through what happened when you walked into the place. You go, oh my god, this is.
I had no idea. Like I didn't even know what to think.
Did you see St. Jude come through the O in Improv and float toward you?
He did a type 5. It
What's-
was all like, "What's up with Jesus and wine, bitches?" What? Like, and then he
What's
fucked the
the
stool.
deal with
He
the
fucked
13th
stool.
Catechism?
This is crazy.
I mean, Vatican III. Come on. So all right.
I love that he's Seinfeld.
yeah. Feels
St.
right.
Jude is Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I was interviewed. I remember my interview. They asked me if I liked stand up, and I did. And I had no idea that I wanted to do stand up. Like I didn't.
You knew you loved it, but you didn't know you wanted to do it.
Not at all. And they asked me who my favorite comics were, and I said Mitch Hedberg and Kathleen Madigan. At that time, like I really loved them.
Not bad answer.
Still great.
Yeah, and then I got hired, and the first week was Mitch Hedberg, and the second week was Kathleen Madigan,
Oh,
like
wow.
back to back, and I was like, oh,
What a
holy
trip.
shit, this is like my perfect job. And back then, we were getting so many great headliners, and I was working the office, and I was
In
working
what city is this?
Dallas,
Dallas. Okay.
The one, it's in Arlington?
Addison.
Addison, that's right.
Yeah. And I was the office manager, and I worked during the day, and I started working at the box office just so I could stay and watch the shows. And I watched every show, and I just loved it. And I was like freaking out, like just I couldn't believe that this was my job, And
Did you ever fuck a comic?
no,
Before you were one?
no.
Good for you. Go ahead. Hey,
You
man,
knew.
you were a waitress or you worked at a comedy club. I mean, these things happen.
Everybody always thought I did, But it was because I really liked talking to the comics.
You would fawn over them or whatever?
Yeah, because to me I was like, oh my God, this is like, I love
You know who else thought you did? The comics, which is why they were talking to you.
Nah.
I can only imagine them being like,
Well,
wait,
maybe.
no,
Monique
yeah, I'm sure
fucked
they
the
were like,
school and
this
me.
is, yeah, no, like, I'm sure they all thought it was going somewhere, and they're like, man, she's a fucking virgin.
We're out of here.
Yeah.
I wasn't at that point.
Oh, good for you.
Whatever.
Good for you.
I started, I hung out with everybody just at work, and then, at that point though, I was still kind of fucked up over my mom, so I was drinking a lot. That's why I got the DUI.
Okay.
Because I got drunk one night and I called my mom. I hadn't deleted her number on the cell phone.
Why'd you do that? Like,
because
accidentally?
No, because I wanted to talk to her, and I forgot that she had passed away.
Damn it.
And it was like that.
And she had actually forwarded it to 911. Correct.
And she answered.
Yes.
You called your mom and they were like, thank you for calling Applebee's.
I'm like,
Sorry.
I'll take a chocolate lava cake. Mama. So I got the DUI that night because I started drinking more because I was like totally depressed, and it was right at the time that Texas started getting stricter laws, and I was made an example of, and I got really shit on with my DUI. I got 2 years probation. I got like 180 hours of community service.
Wow.
I had to do all this stuff. It was ridiculous. And then I started doing stand-up in between. And
Wait, hold on. Tell me, what? There's a thing missing. Like, what happened? How'd you get on stage? What?
A lot of the comics that would come into town would tell me that they thought it was funny, and it kind of gave me confidence because I didn't know if I should try it or not. And
then you'd be like, I'm not going to fuck you. They'd be like, forget it.
I don't think you should try it then.
I ended up actually taking the stand-up class at the Addison Improv because the graduation was doing a set at the Improv.
Yeah.
And because I worked at the Improv, they would never give me stage
Right,
time.
sure.
So I took the class. And
Did you pay?
No. No. And I did the set, and I was hooked on it. I had a great set, and I was like, this is it. This is all I want to do. And for the next year and a half, I would do every open mic I could. I would drive down to San Antonio. I would drive down to Austin to do open mics, just to get on stage. And like a year and a half into stand-up, Carlos Mencia went to the Addison Improv and asked me to do a guest spot, and I did. And he asked me to open for him.
And from that point on, Carlos has been doing that 5 minutes. No, just kidding.
Did he know you from the club?
Yeah, it was funny. When I started doing stand-up, he found my notebook on the bar and asked whose notebook it was, and I said mine.
Why is every part of your life completely cinematic? Excuse me. Whose notebook is this?
Yeah.
I know.
Oh,
Well, normally he just takes it. He doesn't
That's right.
know whose it is.
It's been a very weird life. That's
Yeah,
why
sure.
I'm kind of like, it is a lot of moments like that.
That's
I don't
awesome.
know why, but
so he said, "Whose notebook is this?"
Yeah, he asked me to do a set, and I had just started doing stand up. I had been doing stand up maybe.
Is that the plot to the Notebook? It is, right? Yeah. Okay.
I'd been doing stand up for about 4 months, and I turned him down, and I said, I don't think I'm ready to do a guest spot, and I was like, no, I'm too new. So
And then he came back.
he came back like a year.
I need to find the girl with the notebook.
I was still working at the office, so he asked me if I was still doing stand-up, and I said yes, and he asked me to do 5 minutes, and I did, and then he asked me to open for him in San Antonio, and I did the next week.
And that night he looked you in the eyes and he said, "Dur, dur, dur."
I opened for him in San Antonio, El Paso, and Austin, and then in Austin, that was his last week in Texas, and I was kind of done with it, and he asked me.
You were done with it? What do you mean?
Well, he was doing Texas dates, so I was in Texas, so I'm like, well,
Would you
that's it.
Would you stay in that town? Or would you drive from...
No, I would stay in that town.
Got it.
I would stay.
So you're like straight up middling for Carlos.
Opening, like
for
you know,
Carlos.
like 5-10 minutes.
And he would get you a hotel?
Yeah.
Great,
Yeah.
cool.
And it was like, he and this is I'm doing this against my probation. I wasn't
you're
allowed
not supposed to be doing this.
I couldn't leave Dallas.
Sure,
but I was
right.
doing it, just
Right,
I
because
wanted
we
to
need
do
a
it.
dramatic second act twist. Right?
You need to get pulled over.
Yeah.
driving back from a gig.
It can't be a straight story, right? And then your probation officer came to find you, but ended up seeing you on stage and said, "You need
got
to do
something?
this."
You need to...
and then you're
and then we did a 10-minute tap dance number.
Sure.
Because you know what happens. And then in Austin, he asked me if I would move to LA and open for him like permanently.
Whoa!
And he paid my move from like Texas to Los Angeles.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And
you should have, when we did the joke stealing jokes, you should have vehemently said "fuck you."
That was the nicest. Well,
that's amazing.
You guys have been doing jokes the entire time,
true.
so why am I? He moved me to Los Angeles, and I opened for him.
And then you finally saw his headlining set where he showed you his closer, where he goes, "And you know, I used to be a wrestler in the Mexican wrestling. I'm your daddy."
I worked with him for about 3 years or so.
That is incredible.
And I was doing all this stage time, like I was doing all this like.
Were you doing well when you opened for him?
I was doing great.
Great.
I was doing great, and actually, it was funny because he always gave me these like tests where he's like, okay, tonight go up there and do new material. If you do an old joke that I've heard, you're fired.
Whoa.
And I would have to go up and do, and in a way, it kind of helped me.
Yeah.
You know,
but incredible.
It was that thing where like he would just give me the stuff to do, and then like we would end a tour, and he's like, next tour I need all new material, and it better be amazing, you know. But the thing is that nobody knew me here. I lived in LA, no one knew me, and I couldn't get stage time. Because you were never really around. Yeah, I couldn't get stage time. So
what year is this?
This is like 05, 06, you know. I tried getting stage time. Nobody would do it. I tried getting booked at a club that I won't say the name of. And they're just like, basically, the booker was just like, oh, you're Mexican. Go to the Mexican bar. Go to the Mexican restaurants and do that. Like, you need to go do that. And I left.
What?
And I didn't do the clubs. And, you know, and it was just like, okay, so I'm going to go there. And I started doing these sets in these little Mexican...
Wait, let me ask you this. I'm not going to ask you what the name of the club was. Why won't you say it?
Huh? Well, out of respect. It's just...
Oh yeah, no, that definitely deserves respect. Oh, you're Mexican. Go to the kitchens where the Mexicans are.
I don't want to shit on any of the clubs.
Right.
I mean, you know, whatever.
Seems
I'm doing fine now.
Some people have something called discretion.
That's not. Okay,
she doesn't want to be spiteful.
That's not discretion.
Yeah, she just doesn't want to be spiteful.
Yeah,
it's fucking way healthier than anything you or I would do.
Okay, you're right.
I couldn't get any stage time, and then the whole thing happened with him in like 08 or whatever.
With who? Oh,
with Mencia,
the Rogan
like
thing
the
or
Rogan
whatever
thing, and it was just after that. I mean, I had been around.
I gotta say, this is pretty awesome that you're telling this story. I mean, your story's awesome, but it's kind of cool to have a humanizing story about Mencia.
Yeah, well, you know, that was funny. It was anybody that ever asks me.
We
about
should have him on, by the way.
I'd love to.
It just occurred to me, like, we should have him on.
Everybody that asks me about him, they always ask, you know, the same things, and I always had a pretty good picture of him. I mean, really, I traveled with him for years. He was like my family. He was kind of like a big brother to me, you know, for so long, and he did so much just in moving me out. But at the same time, you know, when he was really popular, you know, I don't know if he would agree, but he was kind of a dick to me, like towards the end. And I realized I'd kind of like worn out my welcome with him.
Oh, interesting.
You know, so I one night just decided that I was done with it. We were in Atlanta, and I just decided that was like the end of the night. And we flew back to LA in 08, and were
you doing a weekend, or you were doing theater?
We were doing a show. We were doing like one of the tours that he was on. He was like doing like the Comedy Central tour or whatever.
Yeah.
We went out, we all drank or whatever, and you know, that night I was trying to talk to this server who, she was really nice, and they, like, some of the guys were trying to like hit on her, and they were kind of like just coming and talking, and it was annoying me because we couldn't have a conversation because she wanted nothing to do with them. Yeah. And that really just annoyed me because I'm like, just why the fuck does everything have to be like this? Like, why is it always this? You know?
Yeah.
You guys, and I just had it, and I left, and that was in 08, and I never spoke to him again.
You've never spoken to him since?
No, I've never spoken to him since, and that was it. Like, that's.
Did you quit, or you just were like?
I quit.
Oh, you said I'm not going to open for you anymore?
I quit.
Oh, was he mad?
I quit. I don't know. No, actually.
How did you quit?
I just told him I didn't want to work for him anymore. Like, oof. I just kind of let it have, like, I just kind of said everything I wanted to say that had kind of built up over time. And I left him there. And, I mean...
Was this at the bar, at the hotel, at the airport?
It was at, like, outside the tour bus.
Great.
You know, and it was just kind of like, okay, you know. And even then, I mean, I had to leave, but, again... I've never said anything bad about him. Yeah, I've never said anything, you know. I think that we had just kind of run our course in working together. But I mean, I don't like bad mouthing him or anything because it almost seems so hypocritical to do that.
Yeah, because if he's nice to you, it's also hard when
he's gonna come back. He's got a new special that's coming out. Do you know about this?
No.
It's called "I Used to Live in the Diner."
I knew it. It's called Smoking Section.
So he stole from both of us.
I know, exactly. Yeah.
It's called "I Used to Write for TV."
Yeah.
You know, the weird thing is that when I stopped working with him, I didn't do stand-up for about a year and a half. Nobody would hire me.
Wow.
Because everybody thought that I stole jokes.
Because you were affiliated with him?
Yeah.
That's completely absurd, though. You guys must have gone around stealing jokes on the road
You're
together?
Part of that syndicate.
Yeah. Carlos would steal, like, the headliner jokes, and you would steal the...
You would go in and distract the headliner, and Carlos would go around back and steal all their jokes.
So, okay. Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever articulated to Carlos fully how, like, what a big deal and how appreciative you are?
No, and actually, no. I used to try to do it when, like, at that time, but I think he was just too popular at that moment to even accept that.
Have you thought about doing that?
No, never.
You never will?
Never. No.
You'll never do it?
No.
Really?
No.
Even a small little note?
No.
It's interesting.
There's more to the story.
There is a lot more.
There's a lot more to the story.
Yeah.
Which
okay,
fine.
but we don't need to find that. The no speaks volumes.
Yeah, interesting.
So I didn't work for about a year and a half, and I had to kind of start over on my stand-up and really kind of get out there and really...
Did you have to follow Brad Williams?
No.
Whoa. That was a lovely pregnant pause. I'll just change the subject.
Okay.
I don't want to.
Brad Williams. Did you find that opening for Carlos... and Carlos's audience, that's almost, it's like very Latino, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Did it create bad habits?
It was terrible. I mean, I hated what I was doing. It's funny.
Did you have any punchlines in Spanish?
No.
Okay.
No.
Right.
No. I picked up a lot of bad habits. But the weird thing is that throughout the whole thing, I used to write all the time. I really liked writing a lot. And I just saw that my performance was terrible. Like what I picked up, I kind of picked up.
Well, you're hammy? Is that what you're saying? I mean,
yeah. You know, it's like a little. It was kind of like I wouldn't watch my set. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now it's
you weren't living up to the Hedberg, Kathleen.
No. And the weird thing is that like Kathleen and I are really great friends. So
I love Kathleen.
You know, so we actually talked throughout this entire path, and you know, basically it's like, what are you doing? You know, and so it was kind of weird when I stopped working on the road with him.
Did you feel terrible?
Terrible how?
Like when you did what you knew you needed to do with Carlos and go your separate ways, was there a part of you that was like feeling this Catholic guilt?
About leaving him?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, man.
All right. And you didn't feel like you fucked up? You were throwing money away, any of that stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did, but
Did you think maybe it was over? Maybe you were leaping into...
Yeah. I didn't know what I was going to do. It was like that at that time where I had to jump.
And you jumped and then...
Same. Okay, I got one more question. This was after the Joe Rogan thing.
Yes.
If that never happens, if Joe never does that to Carlos, do you still quit?
Yes.
Okay. So it was something that you wanted to do on your own.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
you took the big leap and like
and you know
a year later you might have thought I actually did hit the ground because it's still not working.
And actually, you know, yeah. And I actually when I left I was positive that I was going to be okay. And then I started getting really depressed because nobody would talk to me.
What a trip.
And I ended up going into this deep depression when I was crying. I wasn't leaving the bed. I was just like...
Did your depression end? Let me ask you, did your depression end when you met like a nice host for your Just for Laughs showcase, and he was very nice to you after that?
Do you know what's funny is that you were actually one of the first persons, like you were one of the first people to be nice to me after the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not, that's actually one of the reasons that I wanted to do the podcast.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, which is kind of funny.
And I was one of the first people to be nice to you after I realized what your name is.
Crystal.
No, you were one of the last. You were one of the last people to remember her name.
Yeah.
So we each have our
it's
thing.
pretty impressive. Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, to my not credit, I just didn't know who you were and thought you were funny.
Well,
I was like, this person's funny.
That was a weird thing is that even now, I mean, 2014? God, it's been like 4 years of me kind of trying to redo everything where I can start getting work and everything. And it's weird that I have credits that a lot of other comics have, but I don't know comics.
Right.
Or I'm not friends with comics like that because there's this big gap and this big kind of...
Well, that's what I mean. When I saw your act, I thought to myself, I mean, that actually makes sense in a weird way. I thought to myself, this person's frequency, comedic frequency, is like completely like... just doesn't exist, even though it's not like you're some weird abstract comedian. It's just like, oh, this is a person who I just knew immediately she's got a career, definitely. Like, and I think that actually makes sense. It's like that you wouldn't know all the comedians because
and it's weird because I know who they are because I love stand-up still. I watch stand-up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love it. If there's somebody's special coming out on Comedy Central, I DVR it. I'll watch it. I just love watching stand-up.
I feel the opposite way, but
I know a lot of comics do, and I don't know why it is that I do that, but I have to watch the specials. I love it so much. I really I love it, and I just appreciate watching stand-up. To me, it's like it's like the thing I love to do, you know.
So so then you get some of that stink off of you. Years go, a couple years go by. We get like a Comedy Central.
I ended up doing NACA. I started doing NACAs. Like that was, college.
NACA's
work.
A college festival.
It's a mafia that
you
takes your
go,
money.
You audition, and then colleges. It's like a meat market.
Yeah,
or an auction,
it's
slave auction for comedians.
Yeah, right. You do like an hour, and I got accepted into a NACA. It was like Northern Plains, and I booked.
So just to clarify what this means a little even further, there's different regional conferences that you'll go, and they'll be like 50 performers. And we were talking about this. Were we talking about this on the podcast? That there's like 50 performers, and then afterwards you go to the booth of your agent, and the bookers from the various
Meat
colleges
market,
walk by. It's like the Combine. Did we talk
it's
about
like a slave auction.
Yeah, it's like a fucking slave. They're like, oh, this one's got good teeth.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, come to our college. These 10 colleges.
I needed work, and that was like that was the only work I could try to get, and I booked a NACA, and I booked like 60 schools in the first NACA, and it was all Northern Plains, which covers like Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, so I did like 60 schools in that area. And then
I wouldn't even think that would be your like strong. I wouldn't go like I'd go like put her in the Southwest.
No.
Totally.
Yeah, so I did all
and
of
by
these
that
schools.
I mean she's Mexican.
Put her in a small abandoned diner.
Do you guys understand what I'm saying here?
Cartel.
I ended up doing a bunch of shows in Wisconsin and Iowa and stuff, and for a year my life was basically on the road in middle America. And then, because I just started in NACA, I wasn't making any money because the gigs are so low paying at the beginning.
Yeah.
I was out of money in like 2011, and I was about to move back to Texas because I was broke, even though I had all this work. And
what were you making per college?
Oh God, like 1,000.
And you still had no money?
Because I was booked at places that were so expensive to get to.
Got it.
That you know what I mean? It's
renting
like
a car and all that shit.
So it was just like, okay, I'm not making any money. So then 2011, at that point I had accrued all these miles and points and stuff that I got into NACA Nationals and in Charlotte, and I told my then college agent that I couldn't afford to go. He's like, you should go, and I cashed in all my miles and all my points to pay for my trip to Charlotte. And that NACA, I ended up booking like 130 schools, which was like the most ever.
I was at that
since,
NACA,
like,
booked no schools because I
Really?
did jokes about Jesus, which
Zero.
you can't do.
That's the other thing is that like for every Cristela, there's a Neal. There's like 10 Neals.
Oh, yeah.
Looking around like a fucking slave with rickets.
like, but I didn't even want to go.
Well, no
I was
one-
like, I don't
I
like
know.
doing colleges,
I
and
know.
they're not going to like me. And then sure
Right.
enough, they were like, I was doing a half hour for Comedy Central in Boston. They were like, just come down for Boston. I was like, okay, but it's not. It's a
Yeah.
fucking waste of time.
Yeah.
130 at your $1,000 price point.
No.
Oh, thank
like at
God.
a lot higher price point. And
Right.
it was like ridiculous where like I had kids lining up for like 2 days to meet me. Like to
Yeah, you
book
had
me. It was,
plantation
like,
owners
insane.
just
Yeah, it was
lining up.
insane. It was insane. And that kind of like that got me through like economically where I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then I was on the road again doing a lot of the Midwest. I have done the Midwest so much. It's like insane. I do like Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, a lot of Illinois, like just all of these like tiny towns. And then because I did an hour clean, I would book all these Christian schools, Catholic schools and stuff. So it was kind of like really, it kind of built my hour.
Sure.
Just completely squeaky clean.
And then how'd you get the Comedy Central special?
Did you set out to be clean?
Yeah, I kind of did, and I'm not clean. I mean, I like to cuss and stuff. Like when I'm on the, like I'll say bad words and stuff. I don't.
You'll
really,
say it. You'll drop a hell here and there, right?
Well, I think that when I started doing clubs after so many colleges, I just wanted to cuss so bad because it just felt so fucking good to say it.
Yeah.
There you go.
It just,
Even just hearing you say it now.
it just feels so good, But I don't do
A bunch of birds just flew here.
I
No,
don't
St. Jude just cried.
Yeah.
But I don't do any jokes about like fucking or anything like that. It's never really kind of.
Can't
been my
joke
thing.
about something you don't know about. Am I
Boom.
right? Moshe?
Thank you. That's what's up.
This chick don't
So I
fuck.
fucked one dude in 1998, and
This
that
chick
brings us
don't.
to today.
This chick barely bangs, man. Why'd you even bring
You
her
ain't
here?
shit. You
Why'd
think
you
you're
even-
special?
I
You
think-
booked 130
I think-
colleges?
You fuck more dudes than I have.
Fucking in motion. So thank you very much. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna do something I've never done on this show. Somebody just earned herself a $20 tip.
He's really giving her the money.
I just
You
gave
did.
her
Look,
$20.
guys, he made it rain
All
right there.
So okay. So you do your hour.
You
and
guys, am I talking too much?
No.
Is
then,
this
no,
okay?
it's a podcast. You're the guest. Actually, for the champs, you are talking quite a bit because we like to interrupt people. But no.
So great. So then you do a half hour.
Yeah, my college agent at that point, I'm very loyal, and I'm the person that doesn't like to break up with people and stuff. So I don't
Except
quit
Carlos
my jobs.
Mencia.
Anyhow.
Possibly Brad Williams. Go ahead.
And I ended. My college agent got let go from his agency, and I was kind of happy because I had wanted to move to another agency, but I didn't know how. And at that point, my manager set me up with a meeting with my now agency, and the agency, like immediately, like my life changed when I signed with the new agency. I had kind of accepted that maybe I was going to be a college act for the rest of my life because I was accidentally so good at it, and I couldn't do any clubs because my agency didn't want to lose money. They were making so much money off of like the one night college gigs, then like a week at the Improv would seem ridiculous,
Right.
So
This is William Morris. That
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was insane, and again, this is where kind of like what leads to
William
where I'm
Morris
at now.
Endeavor. Sorry, shout out
Yeah.
to my people. What's happening? What's happening?
So I ended up at this. I went to meet with them, and I just kind of got to know the agents, and I really clicked with them. I liked them a lot. I went home. We had like a second meeting a month later, like the signing meeting. Then they asked me how I grew up and, tell me a little bit about yourself. And I told them the thing about the diner and everything. And in their heads, they're like,
All of their agent pussies got wet. Just like, oh, Ari, come quickly.
it was kind of like that thing where at that signing meeting, it was like so entourage-y with the like everybody around like this kind of table. And the moment I started telling them my life story, everybody's like,
hold on.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it was.
Did they
just
literally
kind of
ring a bell?
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
It was kind of insane, and I, you know, and yeah, it was so crazy. I left the meeting, and I got a call from them saying, "We set you up with a meeting with this producer. We want you to meet with this producer." Not knowing what I was going to do, they're like, "Just tell them what you told us. Like, tell them your life story." And I was like, "Oh, okay," you know. And I met with the producer. I told her my life story.
Who's the producer?
Becky Clements, who actually ended up. She's the person I worked with on the pilot. I met her, and she wanted to work with me, and I had no idea what she meant by that. And I left the meeting, and she's like, I think we should do something, and I had no idea what that was, and it really kind of hit me at that moment. I'm like, oh, I think my agent or my manager had to tell me, like, you're trying to sell a show. Do you know what you're doing? And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, no one told me.
Yeah.
You know, and somebody, I want to say one of the agents said, we didn't want to tell you because we didn't want to make you nervous, but that's what you're doing. And I was like, oh, but I don't have a show. Like, I'm not doing a show. And
You're like, this isn't a game to me.
No, this ain't no game. I'm from the
out
street.
here, man.
I'm from the street. Actually, I'm from the kitchen.
I'm from the diner, bitches. And they set up all these meetings with companies, and I met with all of them, and I told them the same story, and everybody's just like, let's do something.
So you think this story is about to end, right? It keeps getting more interesting. You shot a pilot, right?
Yeah, I did.
Wait. No, I'm sorry. You did. You wrote a pilot.
Yeah, I ended up working with 21 Laps and 20th. That's the studio that 21 Laps is under, and they asked me if I wanted to write the pilot by myself, and I said no because I had never written a pilot. So they paired me up. I interviewed all these writers, and the last one that I interviewed was the one I fell in love with. And they even said, they're like, I don't know if you're gonna hit it off because he's.
Who is this?
His name's Kevin Hench. And he actually,
yeah, I know Kevin Hench.
He does a lot of like the Adam Carolla stuff.
Yeah,
and
he's friends with those
guys. He was such a big sports guy. He was kind of like such a classic dude, and they you know, people thought that I would mesh well with a woman, but I love sports. So like when I met Kevin, I was like, holy shit, I'm about you. Like, I love you. I love football. I love basketball. Let's fucking do it. We hit it off, and we came up with this pitch based on my life, and we pitched it to everybody, and everybody's like, that's interesting, but no. Then like the last network we pitched to was ABC, and ABC was like, we like it, but we kind of already have all the pilots for the year. Come back next year. I was like, oh, okay, thinking that's a no, and I thought, well, there goes my life. I'm going to go back to colleges. And
go back to making $300,000 a year on colleges.
Yeah,
it's a bummer. That's a roughie.
Oy,
boy,
kill yourself.
Oy. It's almost as
thought
bad
it
as
was
that dill
bad.
pickle shower.
I know, it's like living in a second diner.
The hedonic diner.
Second shittier diner.
So I kind of went on with my life thinking that I would never hear back from them because I thought that was like a nice way of them saying no. And then last year, it was around pitch season, and they're like, hey, you ready to go? And I was like, oh, you guys meant that. Like, okay. So Kevin and I tightened up the pitch and everything. We ended up going to pitch it to the networks. Everyone loved it. And we ended up going, we sold it to ABC because they had the biggest penalty. They gave us like this.
This is where the story gets really intriguing.
So they gave us this penalty. And
a penalty is when they decide not to make it. They'll give you an amount of money.
Yeah, they give the
like
studio money.
If we don't make this, we'll give you a bunch of money.
Yeah.
It's like Conan O'Brien got a huge penalty when they canceled.
Right. And everybody thought that I got the money.
And
so,
by the way, often, most of the time, a show has no penalty.
Right.
So
it was actually
when it's a competitive kind of situation, then there'll be a penalty.
It was rare that like my first show had gotten such a high penalty.
Right.
And everybody kept thinking that I got the money, and everybody's like, well, then just don't do this show when you get the penalty. And I'm like,
I'm super smart.
Yeah, exactly.
I just hacked this whole shit.
I know. It was so crazy. And
but sometimes you do get the penalty. It's not always the studio that gets the money.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm not aware of that.
Well, just let me tell you some stuff about showbiz.
All right. So we went with ABC, and I was still doing colleges and clubs while I was working on the script. So Kevin and I he would wait till I was in town. We would go to we'd be in his office and we would just write the script line by line together. And we turned in the pilot, whatever, November or something, and we just waited.
I want to do it so bad. Can
Go
I?
ahead.
And they said no.
Yeah, they said no. They said they turned it down, and everybody's
I took your punch off. They said no.
Everybody was just everybody thought oh, we're gonna shoot a pilot. This is a no-brainer. We're doing this pilot.
They said no, just so the people understand. They said no to shooting the pilot. So they've turned in a script.
You get paid for the script.
Right.
Yeah.
The studio reads the script, and then they assign some of the scripts to go shoot on half hour of TV to then come back, and then they'll decide if it goes on TV.
Right. And then it was, and it was that thing where we all thought we were going to go to pilot because it had a penalty, and we're it was a big penalty, so what happened? And that was it. It was basically I got a call hey, they passed, so okay.
Get out of here.
Yeah. And it was just
get out of here. It's literally, there's no and we got you. There's just
but
no, they passed.
It's funny though, because my producer, Becky, she was that person. She's I'm not taking no for an answer. We're going to take it. I'm going to show it to other networks. This has to be on TV.
Yeah.
I love this show. We're going to another network. And I was okay, good luck. And I kind of just lived my life, and I mourned, and I moved on. And then Valentine's Day week, I'm working at the LOL Club in San Antonio, plug. And I landed, and I had these calls from my managers. And I landed. I was at the airport, and they're you got to sit down. I was oh, okay. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on? And they're hey, we're going to shoot a pilot. I was for what? ABC passed. And no, we got the money. ABC.
The penalty money.
Yeah, the penalty money. ABC they've agreed to release the money from the penalty and let us use it as the budget for the pilot, pilot presentation. And everybody was what?
They passed on the script.
Yeah.
They're giving you less money than it takes to film a
pilot.
Yeah.
And,
so it's going to be shoddy. So
but it's not that shoddy.
Well, no, hold on. Let this cinematic narrative.
Right, but I don't want to mislead people that
No, because
but it is less money than a regular.
Yeah, but
pilot.
It's still $600,000-$700,000. It's not garbage.
No. I mean, we were doing it for less, which immediately we were wow, apparently other pilots get to do it for this money, but we don't. So then my producer, Becky, had this plan where we would shoot the pilot on the Last Man Standing set. So we would get the crew, and the crew worked. The Last Man Standing crew worked on the pilot. They just kind of we shot it after. We shot it a day after the season finale for Last Man Standing, and we ended up. We had a week to shoot, to rehearse, and get ready for the taping. We ended up. We couldn't even we couldn't even get on stage.
Yeah, I was going to say, where'd you rehearse?
In a basement where we had the tape, this is the refrigerator, and we all it was kind of like that moment in Stand and Deliver where they're learning calculus in the summer, eating oranges. And
your dad is the teacher, right?
It's like a piece of cake upside down. I love that line. And we just rehearsed in this basement, and I was full hands-on with casting and everything, and we did it all in this room that's kind of this size that we're in right now, and we blocked it, and then we had the day before the taping to we had 2 days before the taping to get on stage and kind of get our bearings down, and then on Thursday we shot it, whatever, and
with an audience.
Yeah, and it went so great. I mean, it was amazing. Everybody was kind of what the fuck happened? Everybody was so happy with it.
Was ABC there?
I think maybe one person was.
Yeah, because do they still own it? That's funny.
So it was
Goofy, right? So just Goofy showed up.
They don't own it. Apparently.
So it was that thing where they
want some low battery shit.
Okay, well, we're
So-
almost done.
All
Yeah,
right, so
sorry.
so you shot
No.
it, and did it get picked up? Do we
Well,
know
hold
yet?
on.
Oh
Hold
no,
on,
no, no,
hold
we
on.
don't know. So then, like at the end of the taping, we find like everybody's like, this went really badass, and Becky comes over and she's like, hey, do you want to do it in Spanish? Do you want to try to shoot a scene in
What?
Spanish
Oh, I didn't
so that
know
we
about
can
this.
so that we can maybe try to sell it to like a Latino market? And I asked
Claro
the
que
actors. I asked my actors play my family members like, do you want to try to translate a scene in Spanish just so we can do it? And everybody's like, yeah, let's do it. So we asked the audience to stay, and we were just like, hey, we're kind of going to wing it. We're going to translate the first scene in Spanish. If you guys want to stay, you're more than welcome to stay. Everybody stayed. We sat around the kitchen set. We did it in Spanish like twice, shot it in Spanish. It was just like, buenos dias, ¿cómo está? Da, da, da.
And you had you had
Is this
way
funny?
brighter out. You are all in sequence in the Spanish version, right?
How bad are we?
Bad. I've never seen you do this.
Okay.
All right, so we don't. So is it going to get picked up?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. So then they
we
turned it.
don't have. We have 40 seconds. So tell me if it's going to get picked up.
No.
We're not
no
sure.
one knows.
We're not
Okay.
sure yet.
But they sent it to test, and it tested this dark horse, this brown horse, tested higher than basically everything that they've got, and it's like, now you're in the lead.
It's tested higher than like any other pilot in the past
awesome.
couple years. Like,
Great.
I tested higher than like Robin Williams, like Zoe
So
Deschanel
great.
and
Oh,
stuff.
here's the
It was
thing.
kinda random.
Who knows what the future brings?
Who knows?
But
Magic
it's
8 Ball.
probably another weird fucking cinematic story. Whether it be
Yeah.
positive or negative, I hope to God it's
I think what's
positive.
going to happen is you're going to win a People's Choice Award, and then you're going to get assassinated.
Fingers crossed.
And then in a
Like
in a
Selena.
real
And I will be buried in the refrigerator from the first diner.
Yes.
yeah, and in a real reversal of fortune, that man that gave you the first act of kindness on that Just for Laughs festival will become a series regular on the largest sitcom on ABC.
Will become
in
a
the
story editor.
story. Oh, dear God. And then you'll fire him, and then he'll be on a podcast one day. You know what he'll say? I used to write for TV.
Yeah.
I used to write for TV. And the
All right. Well, that was great.
Fantastic.
Really
Thanks,
interesting.
guys.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
we-
So
we-
go see Cristela's stand-up, and obviously you'll see her show on ABC.
Or in
Hopefully.
Spa- or in some.
Come on.
Or
You
Thanks,
tell them about
guys.
Let's get real.
All right.
That's how the film ends.
that. Bye.